So hello there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Dodgee Gamer here with episode 12 of our Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars Director's Cut playthrough. So last time we went to the hospital, we spoke to Marquet just before someone else got to him, and he told us to look for the tripod. So we're heading back to the museum. Let's get straight into it. So let's go straight inside the museum. And I think, yes, this time we've got a new person here, Lobineau. We never spoke to him last time.
I beg your pardon. Are you Andres Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No.
Ooh, very
I was
suave.
told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobbard. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
Right, what do we want his professional opinion on? Several things, I would imagine. Let's start with the parchment.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much. Only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Indeed
Just tell me
it is.
one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
Okay, let's ask him about the Knights Templar
Can you
then.
tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Dodgee. Soldiers,
Georgie?
diplomats, mercenaries,
Only I
monks,
get to call him
bankers,
Georgie
you
boy.
name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Dodgee.
Well, as a museum curator, that's his job.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Maybe he's giving us clues about locations later in the game. France, Spain, Scotland.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
Right, what do we ask him about next?
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure, it was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn? That's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived.
George just tells everybody everything.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
Okay, maybe that's the location we'll be visiting soon.
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman.
That got his interest.
This friend who has the manuscript?
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
She lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
I guess we decided not to bother with asking permission after all.
Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes, it was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language. Assassini, the assassins.
So we've got two ancient groups that still exist.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legends surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
Let's stick with this line of questioning.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
And the world today as well. But before we get onto the tripod, let's try and shake his hand.
I'd like to shake you by the hand, Andre.
Not now, Dodgee.
Okay, that was pretty abrupt rebuttal.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
Okay, didn't go for the tissue. Right, let's try the photo of Khan.
Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
No.
Okay, that was a dead end. Should I show him the gemstone?
What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Pegram's messenger boy.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well, I try to keep an open mind on the matter.
So, George, I must keep this gemstone secret. People would kill for it. Also, George, hey, look at this gemstone. What do you think?
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Alamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Where is it?
There's a connection
Somewhere
there, then.
in what used to be called Persia. I'm not too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
Okay, nothing else to be had from the item, so that leaves us with the tripod.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Ooh,
Because
that's
I'd
a bit
never see
cheeky,
it again.
George.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point.
So George today has posed as a doctor and seen a patient who was then murdered, and now he's trying to persuade the curator of the museum to give him a tripod.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
He's going to have a tough time explaining this to the police. Right, so we know that the crooks are coming here to steal the tripod today at some point. So, how are we going to stop them? Remember, we came here before. We talked to the guard. Ah, yes, and there was something going on with the window here. He didn't want the window open. And then we went to hide in this sarcophagus, I remember. But then nothing happened, so yeah, maybe that's what we need to do now. There we go. Last time he just made a joke about it, but now, obviously, there's more people around.
It is closing time, Monsieur Lobineau.
There we go.
Already,
I did well to remember
there
that.
just aren't enough hours in the day.
More than enough for me. I can't wait to get home and put my feet up.
Eh bien, see you tomorrow.
Good night, Monsieur.
Here we go. The thieves coming in at night. I don't know where that triple alarm system is.
Quit fooling around, you moron! Get your ass over here and bring that flashlight.
So, oh, okay. This is... Okay, we hide behind this and watch them.
What the... Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
The weasel and the gibbon, was it? George, I don't think that was a good idea. Oh, we've been rescued. Was
And
that
when I
Nico?
woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor Georges.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
There
You
we
mean
go, it was
you
Nico.
who stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together. And how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod.
He didn't seem to mind when Andres Lobineau was calling him Georgie. And he's mad at the woman who basically saved his life. George.
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from Andres Lobineau.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all. It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
I sure hope so.
Okay, good. So, I guess we don't need to look at the manuscript again. We've exhausted all of
I'd
these
better
with
get back to
Nico
the
before.
quest.
So we've got the location now of Montfaucon, which, yeah, there it is on the map. And that's going to be the next episode. We'll leave it there today. So thank you very much for watching. Please do hit that like button if you've enjoyed today's episode. Subscribe to the channel for more retro gaming point-and-click content. I'm starting a series soon on one of the LucasArts classic games, so keep an eye out for that. I'll tell you which one another time. But for now, I'm Dodgee Gamer. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll speak to you again soon.